What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about an issue that probably some of you have had, but no one has really ever talked about in the space of YouTube, and that is the question of how do you pick an online distributor of hair systems? How do you pick your partner that you're going to be working with and that's going to keep you looking fresh to death? How do you pick the person that is going to be ultimately the source of your hair sexiness, your luscious hair? Well, there's a couple different things that you can think about. Up front though, I gotta say, this video right here is happening because Vivid Hair actually sent me a hair system to review, and unfortunately I haven't gotten to that yet because I'm still working on this system right here. I'm growing out my hair and I want to actually use their unit for a new style. So this video isn't officially sponsored. However, I wanted to make a video for Vivid that takes you through a process, but this is not going to be just about Vivid. It's going to be actually more so about how to pick a distributor, and I'm going to share some of my experience with Vivid in contrast with other distributors. So the first thing that you're going to want to think about, right, when you're picking a distributor, and this is probably the number one thing out of anything, you've got to make sure that they have good customer service. And what do I mean by that? Well, listen, there is a lot of things that you're probably going to have questions about, a lot of issues that you might have, things that you want to know that aren't directly on their website, that they don't have the information directly there. Maybe you want to know where it's manufactured. Maybe you want to know if it's bleached knots. Maybe if you want to know X, Y, and Z, right? All of these things to me is paramount to be able to contact and reach someone in a short period of time. So far with my experiences with Vivid, it's been very good communication. All my questions have been answered pretty quickly, and they've been there at a pretty much a moment's notice. So to me, that's a very big thing, and that's something that you'll want to consider as you're moving forward. Now, the next thing there is the process of how you're going to order a unit from a distributor. Now, the first thing, and probably I don't know if it's the most important thing, but it's the most important thing, and that is really making sure that you get your color selected correctly. It's so important that you have the right color that you're wearing next to your natural hair, because if it is not correct, there's going to be an obvious differentiation between the two, and it's going to help break the illusion that a hair system magically provides to you. Now, Vivid has got a lot of different colors to choose from, and you can look on their website and you can see the potential colors. You can try to match up your hair, but if you do that, you will be 110% wrong. There is almost a guarantee that if you try to match your hair color based off of the hair color that you see inside of a computer screen, a desktop, you will be wrong. Now, monitors, first off, the photography and the lighting conditions that the photo is in and you are in are completely different, and that is going to augment the color difference, number one. Number two, LCD screens that we use for our computers are all calibrated differently. They have different colors as opposed to what true color is. You actually have to get a monitor calibrated if you want it true to color of what the world is around you. So between these two things, you cannot choose a hair system color offline or online like this. You may want to, and may be the quicker option, but you cannot do it. You cannot. Now, there is a way that you can get the correct color unit, and it's going to take more time, but you've got to do this, and any company that doesn't recommend that you do this is not worth their weight in gold or poop or anything. Just don't do the offline or the online order color thing. So what you need to do is you need to get a color ring. You need to get a ring of different hair colors that a different distributor provides, because this is going to allow you to match up your color directly to another color in the same lighting circumstances, and it's going to give you a specific code number that you can use with that company, and from there you will make sure you have the correct color. If there's any differentiation between if you matched up the color and the unit arrives and it's a different color, well, that's something that you can dispute at a later date, and that's something that you can address. You can say, hey, this is not matching the color code that I said I needed, and they can take care of that on the customer service end. But This is a much more accurate way to get the correct color for your hair system, and that's so important. Next, you're going to want to choose the density, right? Now, this isn't as simple as just choosing the density, because we'll get into that in a second. But you can choose densities anywhere from really about 50% up to about 180%, which is really like very thin hair, to incredibly thick hair that really shouldn't be used for anything besides theatrical performances or dramatizations, or you know, you're actively trying to achieve a certain look that's not natural. Most of us will follow in between the 80% to 100% range of hair thickness, and probably more towards the 80%. This is just the way that most of us are when we're young. When we're in our 20s, we might be able to get away with 100% hair, which is generally a light to medium. That's actually the name, light to medium density, as opposed to a light density, which is around 80%. And but we're going to want to stick in that ballpark. But it's not as so simple as just choosing the density, because this matches up with the base materials that a specific company provides you. Now, we all know that there's basic different types out there. There's mono, there's French, there's Swiss lace, there is polyurethane thin skin, there's different thicknesses of the thin skin. There is even silk, which is something that Levivid has, which is interesting. And these different bases allow for different densities. So you're not going to be able to get every density in every single base type. So keep that in mind when you're choosing the base type. Now, also keep in mind that you'll want to be looking to find, if you're interested in hybrid bases, that the company has the correct hybrid base that you're looking for. And these hybrid bases are usually used to provide advantages of two different types of units, so that way you can have your best outcome that you want, right? So right now I'm in a polyurethane exterior with a French lace interior, and the reason for that is that way I have breathability, but I can use the polyurethane to attach tape very, very easily. It's a super simple fix, and I can just plop it on like that. It's really easy to use. I do it all myself now, actually. Now, the next thing that you'll want to consider is actually the front hairline shape, right? So the contour is what you've probably heard this described as. Now, speaking about Levivid, they have about 6 different contours. They have C, CC contour. They have B, BB, AA. C contour is pretty much a straight contour. This is something that you might find when you're, in your teens. A CC contour is what a lot of people see in most units that are stock, and this is something that a lot of people would choose their first time, and then it progresses all the way through B, BB, AA into more receded hairline types. So a double A contour is going to look more like these parts right here, recessive back. And I would actually say don't avoid those if you are a little older. If you are, in your 40s or your 50s or in your 60s, you may consider getting a more recessed hairline. Some people say, well, why would you wear a hair system if only to have a recessed hairline? That's a good point. But I believe that if you want a really natural look, like you gotta realize we're all imperfect humans, and we have imperfect hairlines, and recession is part of that. It is part of that. So having some recession, maybe you're not going to go for the double A, but don't be afraid of having a little bit more recession. I will probably choose a more recessed hairline as I continue to age, to be honest. So guys, this is the basic way that I want you to think about ordering from a distributor, right? Now, another thing that you can look for is, are they being really active in their content online? Are they generating blogs? Are they generating social media? Are they talking with influencers? Because if they are, that means, they're actively trying to grow their business, one, but they obviously care about engagement and education more so than some other companies. And, personally to me, that's an important thing, because I believe that anybody that I work with, I want to have the heart of a teacher. I want them to be somebody that at the end of the day, if I have questions, I can go and I can ask, or hopefully they've already created content that serves me, and that way I don't actually have to reach out. And that's a really enjoyable experience to have. And lastly, guys, when you're choosing a distributor, I would not say go with the cheapest option. This is just the way that I believe, how I buy things in my life. There's cost versus price, right? So the price of something is what you pay day that you buy it, right? So let's just say a hair system is $200. The cost of it is what are the costs that you incur over the lifetime of a given product, right? So the price might be $200, but the cost after to maintain it maybe so much higher for a less quality product than a higher quality product that costs $250 or $300. You might spend way more on a cheaper unit over the long run because of the cost of maintenance and the cost of replacing a unit, which is probably the biggest factor that we're going to be looking for. If you can squeeze an extra month out of a unit by paying a little bit more for it, it may make sense to pay more for it. Think about it like that, right? Because if you're doing all of the self-installs and maintenance yourself, if you pay $100 extra for a unit, and you need to get it cut in when you get a new unit, you're easily looking at $100 extra every single time you get a new unit. So if you can squeeze more time out of another one, it automatically pays itself off. So don't just look at the upfront cost, look at the quality of the units. Now, that being said, I cannot speak to LeVivid's quality of their actual units. Like I said, LeVivid sent me a unit. I have not used it yet, and I will not give a review on it until I can actually test it out for myself and give you guys some direct feedback. And when I do, that'll be great. But for now, guys, I hope this helps you choose and think about how to go about ordering a unit online. If you're confused or overwhelmed, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I answer all comments pretty much. And yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know, guys, are you interested in me doing sponsorships with companies and letting you know about products that they're offering? Are you okay with me doing that on the channel? I'm going to always be honest and transparent and vulnerable with you guys about how I do things. That's one of the things that I love about this community, is I really listen to your feedback, and I'm open to your feedback. So anyways, guys, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.